Hey guys, welcome back. Hope you guys are all doing great. Welcome to the first reading vlog of the new year. Don't mind the lighting. It's very like rainy and kind of dreary and dark outside right now. So this is kind of like all we got going. The apartment lighting just isn't there yet. And I didn't want to put on the overhead lights because it's just kind of like it's too much, like, trust me. So we're gonna be rocking and rolling with this for right now. Today's reading vlog is going to be a winter reading vlog, so I'm gonna be reading a lot of the books that were on my winter TBR for this season, and I'm very excited because I have so many books that I am just so stoked to get to. Whenever I was thinking of the first book, I instantly just kind of knew what I wanted to read, and we're gonna be reading this baby right here. Yeah. So this is Throne of Glass by Sarah J Maas, the first book in the Throne of Glass series, or the second technically for me. I already did read the prequel. By the way, this entire reading vlog is spoiler free too, so I will not be spoiling this book or any of the other books that I read in this video for you. So if you're scared of it getting spoiled, don't worry about that, because I would not do that to you. Okay, I promise I would not do that to you. Obviously, I did read the prequel, but this series is about an assassin named Selena Sardothian, and it's a fantasy world that she lives in, and that's all I really want to say for right now. I do have to say I really did enjoy the prequel, so I'm very excited to jump into this one, and let's just go ahead and get right into it. Halfway through Throne of Glass, and I cannot tell you guys how much I am enjoying this. I literally started it yesterday and I'm already halfway through, which is absolutely crazy to me because everybody keeps saying just wait until you get to like the later books and you meet other characters and all these plot twists start happening and stuff like that, but I'm already loving this. And the chapters are shorter, which I absolutely eat up. I believe almost every single chapter has been less than 10 pages, which is kind of crazy, but it keeps me wanting to read because I feel like I'm accomplishing more. I feel like everybody kind of loves short chapters. And also, how can you just like not love a main female character that's just so strong and independent and determined? Selena is so cool. I love Selena. It's also just super fast paced, like so much has happened and I'm only halfway through, and we're also meeting a lot more characters, and every time I meet a new character they just have such good character development, and it's crazy to me that this is like the first thing she ever really wrote. Even though people say to read ACOTAR first, like this she wrote first technically, and that's why it's like finished. I mean, we don't really know if it's finished or not because it's Sarah J Maas, you never know. But yeah, I don't know, I'm enjoying this so much. I also think I might already like this more than ACOTAR, dare I say. Also, it is in third person and it changes POVs quite frequently. If you've ever read Akasif, which is the last ACOTAR book of Court of Silver Flames, it's kind of like that, where it changed from like Cassian to Nesta's point of view, but it doesn't say like their names or anything. But I don't find that confusing at all. And this book, it's changed I think from like 3 or 4 people's point of view so far, and I like getting like little tidbits of other people's perspective just besides Selena's, just because you can see obviously like what's going on in their head and how they feel about her or how they feel about a certain situation. And I'm just really loving that because it doesn't leave anything to be assumed or interpreted. Like you just know. Obviously there are some things to assume, but I do like knowing what a lot of people are feeling and thinking, especially regarding Selena. I feel like that just makes her so much more of a well-rounded character, and I just don't and I don't know, I'm just like loving this so much. Like I'm literally eating it up. Obviously I don't want to spoil this at all or give any plot away or anything like that, so I'm just gonna stop talking about it and I will talk to you guys whenever I finish it. Okay, I finished Throne of Glass. I actually did some tabbing too. It's not like that many, but I was kind of shocked I brought out the tabs at all. I just felt like there were a lot of moments that I was probably going to want to go back to later in the series, especially because it's like an 8-book series. Speaking of it being an 8-book series, I was not expecting to like enjoy this one as much, just because everybody says, oh, the first few are so hard to get through, like just like grind through it, you know, it gets so much better, so much better. And I think that it's going to get so much better because I see so much potential in it. But at the same time, I'm like, people think this is bad? Like, I thought this was great. Like, I know it probably pales in the comparison to the other books just because, I don't know, there's so many more characters, so much more build up, all that kind of stuff, but I don't really think it's fair to really compare, like, first books in a series compared to, like, even the third or fourth, especially, like, the last book in the series, because it's, like, over 900 pages, which is insane. But I don't know, I like this book a lot. I found myself just wanting to read more and more and more of it. It had great pacing. There were elements in it that kind of got revealed that I was very excited about, because at first I wasn't sure when, like, the fantasy elements were coming, but they come, don't you worry, they come out. And it just feels like different. Like, obviously there's stuff in here that other fantasy books do too, but it just felt a little bit more unique to me, I guess. And I'm just so excited to read the rest of the series. I want to pick up Crown of Midnight right now. I'm not going to, obviously, because I don't just want to read Throne of Glass in this video, but I really did enjoy this. If you haven't started this series yet, start it now, and then we can like read it together. I think that'd be super fun and share all of our thoughts. And not sure on my rating yet, but I really did enjoy this. The next book that we're going to read is going to be a romance, and I was kind of thinking like, what is the idea of a winter romance, you know, like what screams winter romance to me? And the only thing that like really came into my mind was a hockey romance. It just makes so much sense. Like, they're on the ice, and ice means snow, ice means cold, ice means winter, you know? And there's been a hockey romance that I've been wanting to read for a while. It's on Kindle Unlimited. It's called Behind the Net. It's by Stephanie Archer, and I've just heard that it is just a very cutesy, fun hockey romance. I love a good hockey romance, so we're gonna be reading that as our next book. I actually started it. I think I'm only like 5% through, and I'm gonna be reading it on my iPad. Actually, I don't have a Kindle. I just read it on the Kindle app on my iPad, but I am enjoying it so far. It's basically about this guy Jamie, and he's a hockey player, and he moves teams, so it's set in Vancouver, and he ends up needing an assistant, and the girl who shows up at his door to be his assistant is a girl named Pippa that he knew from high school. She shows up, she's like, oh my gosh, he doesn't remember me, like whatever, like I was like a little band nerd, like why would Jamie, who's like in the hockey leagues or whatever, remember me, like little old me? So she acted like they had never met before, and then he was like, oh my gosh, it's Pippa, like I remember her, I was in love with her for like years in high school. And I was like oh my gosh, like I'm already kind of obsessed with this man. It's also a little Grumpy Sunshine, which I don't know, I've kind of been enjoying lately. I'm like back in my romance era. For a while I was only reading fantasies, and then I got into a big fantasy slump, and now I'm back in my romance era, and I'm just kind of like loving it, especially because Valentine's Day is coming up soon, so it's kind of like the perfect timing to be in that era. Although Throne of Glass is making me go back into my fantasy era. I don't know if I'm back in my fantasy era, actually. I might just be like in my Throne of Glass era, because the writing is so good, the storytelling is so good, and I just am obsessed with that so far too, and I'm not even like fully in it. I'm actually in my car right now because I'm about to go into Barnes & Noble. I have a video to edit for a little bit, and then Brooke and I are going to be meeting up and just doing some reading and chilling, and probably just walking around the bookstore just to see kind of what they have, especially because I haven't been here in a minute, and I love going to Barnes. It's just so fun to walk around even if like you don't get anything. The atmosphere of a bookstore is unlike no other. So we're going to do that, and we will keep reading Behind the Net. Okay, Luke and I have just been having a nice little lazy day, so that results in me doing a lot of reading since we've just been kind of like chilling. I've literally been in my PJs all day long, and if I have my choice, I don't do that every day, not gonna lie. But I wanted to talk about Behind the Net because I think I am over halfway through. I'm 63% through, and I'm on page 264. I think there's like 418 pages, so I'm feeling pretty good. I might try and finish it tonight, honestly. We'll see what happens. I might be reading with Brooke, or I don't know, we'll see. Maybe I won't finish it tonight, so maybe I won't say that. We'll just see what happens. But I've honestly really been enjoying it. It's very cute, and it's also a lot spicier than I thought it was gonna be. I don't know if all hockey romances are just like the same level of spice or what, but I don't know, for some reason I was expecting some like cutesy little romance. It's still cute and it has its moments, but it's a little bit spicier than just like your average romance. And the guy in this, Jamie, just feels like such like a protectiveness over the girl, and like some of the things that he said, like I'm like Jamie, Loki kind of has me kicking my feet a little bit. I've definitely been giggling. Dare I say I've been giggling. I also really like the Pippa storyline where she's trying to get into her music career, but she doesn't truly believe in herself, but like Jamie's pushing herself to do it. I think that's really, really cute. So I'm really enjoying it, but I think the only thing that I'm really like not enjoying is the nickname he has for her. So it's kind of like a little bit of an ick. Not vibing with that. And I don't know, I feel like it's just giving cute wintry romance vibes, and I'm really enjoying it. And I don't really know what else there's to say besides that. I'm actually really enjoying reading on my iPad a lot more than I thought I was going to. And I've been going back and forth about if I want a Kindle or not. I really don't think I do, just because like my iPad serves the same purpose and then I don't have to like buy another thing. But having the Kindle app on my iPad is so nice. I think my favorite way to read is, you can't see that at all. Okay, I turned my brightness down, but I like reading. Okay, I turned my Sorry. It's okay. Okay, I turned my brightness down, but I like reading this way because it fits more on the page, and also it sits up like this on whatever I'm doing, so I can like do a ton of other things while I'm reading, like eating a snack or like playing with my hair. I don't know, just like not having my hands like out for a book, if that makes sense, especially a paperback, because paperbacks, like you have to be holding them a certain way or else they're not going to be open and you can't read them, and it could just be kind of hard sometimes. So I really am enjoying that feature, I guess, because I don't really read a lot of ebooks or a lot of books on my iPad, I guess, so I'm liking that. And yeah, I don't know, I'm just enjoying the book, enjoying reading it on here, just having an overall great experience. Okay, it's the next morning. You know how I said last night I was like thinking about finishing Behind the Net? I literally did not read a single word of the book after that clip, so that didn't end up happening. I have been reading a little bit this morning. It's currently 11:13 and whatever, I was just like eating breakfast, getting ready, all of that kind of stuff, and I am currently 79% through. I think last night I was like 60 something percent through. I can't remember. I don't think I've read that much though. I don't really know how I feel about this book anymore. I know in the earlier clips I was like, oh my gosh, like it's so cute, like I'm really enjoying it, all that kind of stuff. And don't get me wrong, the He Falls first stroke, superior. Hits every time. And it did hit in this book to a certain point, but I don't know, guys. I'm really frustrated because there's just been so much unnecessary spice. Like genuinely so much unnecessary spice. Pages and pages of like one spice scene, and honestly, like there are times where I'm in the mood for that, not gonna lie. I just don't think that this is the book for me in this moment. I really have not been enjoying a lot of spice lately. If that's your vibe, this may be the book for you. I don't know if all of Stephanie Archer's books are like that because I haven't really read anything else by her, so I'm not sure. And not to shame anybody if they do like spice, like I said, I love a good spicy book sometimes. I'm just not particularly in that mood and haven't been lately. I've just been a lot more into just good plot. Why am I holding my glasses wrong? I've just been a lot more into like plot lately, honestly, and I feel like a good mixture of plot and spice is kind of what I need. And I'll be honest, the plot in here, loving it. Like they did a bunch of cute things that I've really been loving. His possessiveness over her at first I really enjoyed too, but now it's kind of getting to the point where it's a little icky hearing it from his perspective, because this is dual POV, which I normally really enjoy, but I don't really like the way he talks about her sometimes. Like he just like harps on it too much, and I'm like, bestie, yeah, she's yours, we get it. And I'm really not enjoying the thing that he calls her. Like, it's just so cringy, and he says it all the time, and I don't know. I was just really looking forward to this book, and I was hoping that I was gonna like it a lot more than I am right now, and I was, but no, I'm not. And now I'm kind of like feeling a little slumpy, which is kind of annoying. It got to the point where I was skimming, like honestly not even skimming, I was just swiping my little hand during the spicy scenes. Like I was like, okay, like we don't need that. But we'll see, maybe my opinions will change a little whenever I get towards the end and kind of get the wrap up of everything. We're honestly at a good point right now because they're going to like a little event where they're dressing up and stuff like that, and there's like a little bit of drama, so I'm kind of liking the plot. I just hope there's not too much spice where it just becomes so unnecessary for me. Again, if you like spice, I am not shaming you in any way. I just read like pages of a spice scene, and now I'm just now reading another one. I just feel like there's not enough tension in this book. Like, I'm just gonna end up skipping it because it really doesn't add anything to the plot. Okay, but then he does stuff like take her to go get a dress for this gala, and he shuts down the whole store, and he books her a massage, hair and makeup, all that kind of stuff. Like, that is so sweet. I'm telling you, like, the plot is good. The spice is just too much for me. I don't know. Just wonder you feel special. Like, Jamie, the tension is like one of the best parts about reading romance for me, and if there's no tension, then I just like don't, even if I feel a connection to the characters, I just like don't feel as connected as I should, if that makes any sense. Like, I just don't, I don't know. Ugh, not the nickname. Not Jamie growling. He's so jealous. Okay, I'm here for the drama. I'm so here for the drama. Sometimes reading books is like watching a reality TV show. Not gonna lie, I love it. Okay, I love that he's possessive, but also lets her like stand up for herself and like believes in her so much that she can do it. That is a nice combo. Like, he knows where to draw the line and let her do things herself. I like that a lot. I'm so gone for this girl. Why is this never ending? Okay, this is cute though. I love a good love confession. Like, it just hits every time. Okay guys, I have finished Behind the Net. I don't really know what to say. I do think this book is a lot longer than it needed to be, in my personal opinion. Obviously, the spice, a lot of it was unnecessary, but I do think that the plot was interesting, and I did like the ending, and I don't know, the plot that was there was good, and I feel like that matters. I don't really know what else to say about it, besides that I just wish there was more tension. I wish there was more lead up, because I feel like they got together too quickly, in my personal opinion, and that just kind of made things not as interesting to me. Like, I found myself not connecting with them that much. So yeah, I don't know. I don't really know what I'm gonna rate this book, so we shall see. I'm gonna go ahead and start our next book, which is probably gonna be a fantasy, and I think I know what book I want to read. It just kind of screams winter fantasy to me. So let's go ahead and start our last book of the vlog. Okay, hey guys, I feel like garbage. I've had a sore throat for the past few days, and then now I have a stuffy nose and a sore throat, although my sore throat does feel better because I had some ice cream. And I don't know if this is like a thing, but I feel like some sore throats are like hot sore throats or cold sore throats. Most of the time I have hot sore throats where like I have a hot cup of tea and I'm like good to go for the rest of the day. Like, I barely feel it. But this time it's been a cold sore throat, and I didn't figure that out until like a few days in. And Luke and I had some ice cream, and like literally cloud nine, because one, I love ice cream, and two, like I can't even feel how bad my throat hurts now. Like, it's just like my nose burning. So you know what, glass is half full, right? Because my throat doesn't hurt, I guess I'll take it. As far as reading goes, currently reading One Dark Window, as you guys know, and I am really enjoying this. The first, I want to say like 50 pages were super slow for me, and sometimes I forget whenever I go into a new fantasy world, I have to learn the whole magic system, which makes so much sense because I'm literally like learning about something that has never existed in my brain before. So the first 50 pages, I was like, do I want to read this book right now? Like, I don't know if I'm feeling it. You know. I also feel like going into any book that is not a part of a series where you're already introduced to the characters, sometimes it's just a lot. Because it takes a lot of brain power to like get to know new characters and stuff like that. But once you get into it, like you're like into it, you know? And that is kind of what happened for me in this book. Once I got into it, I was into it. I am very much enjoying this. I am over halfway through at this point, and I've really been loving the magic system. It's like incredibly different than anything I've ever read before. And I don't know if I fully understand like all the magic or anything, but I'll try and explain this the best that I can without like giving a lot of stuff away or anything. But the plot is really good, and basically there's like 12 different kinds of Providence cards, and those cards have magic in them, and like you have to touch it 3 times and then like it gives you their magic until somebody else touches it 3 times, or I think you can touch it 3 times again to like take it off or something. So normal people can use the magic, and then there's also people who are infected with like a fever and they had magic, and the king like wanted to like kill all those people, and our main character is an infected person that just was like never found out to be infected, so she has like magic. The magic that she has is there is a like thousands of year old, it's called like the nightmare voice in her head, and they're kind of like bantering back and forth, like you know how sometimes like in fantasy books like the main characters can like talk to each other through their heads. That's kind of like how this is, but he's just like a part of her being and nobody knows. She's never told anybody. But the basic plot is you have to collect all 12 Providence cards in order to break the spell and lift the curse of like the illness, I think. So that's the plot. Our main character, Elspeth, like I said, she's infected. She's super cool. I really like her a lot. I've been loving the plot, like I've said several times. I haven't really been reading as much as I've wanted to the past few days just because I felt like very foggy and cloudy, but today I felt like up for it. So I have been reading quite a bit today, and I'm gonna read a little bit more for the rest of the day. I think I could get a good chunk of the way through, maybe at least another 100 pages, and then hopefully like finish this tomorrow or the next day. But I am really liking it, and it's kind of like picking up more and more and more the more I read. So I really can't complain, and honestly it's not putting me into a book slump, so I'll take whatever I can get right now. I think I have about 100 pages left. I'm really enjoying it. It's still very fast-paced, very fun, very, I don't know, it's just like a great fantasy book. The world, like, you know how I said that Throne of Glass was different? This is different. Throne of Glass was giving me different feelings, like where I just kind of like felt more for the characters and just felt more connected to the world in general, but this is a very unique fantasy world, and I am just so enjoying it. Even for people who haven't really read a lot of fantasy, I feel like you guys could really enjoy this. I think it might just take you like 50 pages to get into, but other than that, it was super easy and simple to understand. Like I got the gist very quickly. And I really like how we're still finding out things as you go along. Like there's like a bunch of plot twists and stuff like that. Very interesting, and I don't know, I'm just really enjoying it. I think it is time to put on the headphones and finish this up though. Okay, as you guys saw, I finished One Dark Window. I finished it a few days ago. I haven't really been able to film because I honestly still have not been feeling very well. I had a really great day the day I finished this, and I was feeling great, and then all of a sudden it just kind of like caught back up with me again, so hopefully I'll start feeling better soon. But anyways, One Dark Window, I really enjoyed this book. I enjoyed it a lot more than I truly thought I was going to, especially because people were talking about it being like a gothic fantasy and kind of having like darker themes, but I honestly didn't feel like it was like a lot crazy darker than a lot of the other fantasies that I've read. Highly recommend this if you have not read this yet. Raven You, Elm. This is definitely romantasy. It just takes a little bit to get there, but tension is good. It's not the best tension I've ever read, but there definitely is some tension, and the storyline is just so interesting, so intriguing, because it's genuinely different than anything like I've read, like I've said so many times before about this book. Elspeth is just such a great character, and the whole like thing she has going on in her mind, I love that. I loved the nightmare. It kind of reminded me of almost the dragons a little bit in like Fourth Wing and stuff like that, so I like really enjoyed that. The character was very dark and like kind of enticing and kind of like teasing her a lot of the time, but also was like protecting her, which I really enjoyed too. And the ending was just kind of like insane. Like I think I knew where it was basically going, but I didn't know that it would happen to like that extent. But I don't know, guys, I really enjoyed this. Highly recommend picking this up. I'm definitely going to be reading the second one. I want to get the second one like soon. I am reading Throne of Glass right now though, so who knows, maybe if I'm like in the mood for a fantasy and I don't want to specifically read another Throne of Glass book, since there are like 8 books in the series. Maybe I'll pick up the second one because this is just a duology, which I like too because like it's very quick to finish. You don't have like books and books and books to do a part of a series. But I don't know if that'll happen because I probably will want to read Throne of Glass if I'm in a fantasy mood, but we'll see. Who knows? Maybe I'll do it on a reading vlog or something. Okay, it is now time for like my final wrap up of all the books that we read in this video. I do have to say this was a pretty great reading vlog. I feel like lately I've been reading not like the worst books, but also I just haven't been having, I guess, the best reading experience lately for some odd reason. I literally haven't had a 5-star read since my favorite book of last year, which was Powerless, and I read that in October. So, and again, not to say that the books that I've been reading are bad, and these books are not bad either. I'm just like really searching for a 5-star read. None of these are 5-star reads, but we'll start off with Throne of Glass. I really like this second book in the series that I've read, and just super enjoyable. I like Selena. I liked all the other characters that we met in here. Super fun elements. I even ended up tabbing it. I'm gonna end up rating this one a 4-star just because it wasn't like absolutely perfect to me, and there were a few slower spots, but the short chapters just keep these books going, and I think that's why Sarah J Maas kind of has me in a chokehold. I'm not gonna lie, because her chapters are just so good. They leave off in cliffhangers. They're just so short, and I actually love the third person in this series a lot. Really enjoying it. And then I read Behind the Net by Stephanie Archer. That book I'm probably gonna rate a 3.75. As you guys know, the spice in that book just wasn't doing it for me. Not that it wasn't good spice, because it was good spice. It was almost just too spicy that it took away from the plot, and I didn't really enjoy that. Did I like Jamie and Pippa's story? Yes, the plot was amazing, but I honestly think that it was a little too long and she could have taken out a lot of the spice scenes. But again, like I said earlier, like nothing against you if you like spice. I love spice too. Maybe I just wasn't particularly in the mood for it because I think I'm really in a fantasy mood right now. So that was on me, but I also didn't know what I was going into when reading that book. I didn't know it was going to be that spicy, but I did enjoy it a lot. I think a 3.75 is probably the best rating just because I like the plot a lot, but there were some cringy moments and the spice was too much. So I feel like that's a good rating. And then we have the last book that we just read, One Dark Window. And I'm not gonna lie, this book gave me a lot of feelings. At first I was like, is it a 5-star? It wasn't a 5-star, guys, but I do think the second one has a good chance of being a 5-star. I'm gonna rate this 4.5 stars. I just really enjoyed this, connected to the characters a lot. It really made me feel something, and that's the biggest thing that I look for whenever I read. How I like determine my rating, I guess, is how it makes me feel, and this book made me feel so many things. I just enjoyed it so much. The characters, the story, the progression, how whenever I started out I really wasn't enjoying it, but then I got so into the world and just kind of like sucked in. I couldn't put it down. That's what I'm looking for, and I think the reason why I can't rate it 5 stars is just because the beginning again was kind of slow for me, and it was kind of hard to like figure out what was going on. So it's not a perfect book, but I really did enjoy this book a lot. So those are all the books and all of my ratings. If you guys have any thoughts on these books, if you've read them, go ahead and leave that down in the comments down below, as well as any videos you guys want me to film, especially since it's the new year. I want to be filming new fun and exciting videos, also videos that like you guys want to watch because you're my viewers. So if you guys have any ideas, let me know. Your girl's always looking for good ideas. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like, subscribe, do all those things. Follow me on my socials if you want to see me on more of a day-to-day basis. I'm always on TikTok and Instagram, and also on Goodreads quite frequently. It's kind of unhealthy. So yeah, I think that's it. I hope you guys are all having a wonderful day, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.